Recently, Space Cutlet put out a video about drug trade and how it's back in 3.17.4. I've been having a lot of fun playing with it, but it is risky. Let me explain. I didn't check my corner there, in that dark corner. And now that since everybody's doing the drug trade right now, that means folks are going to come out and they're going to get you, because it's a lot of fun to kill people in this game.
Oh man, I didn't see you there. Hold on 1 second, I'll help.
You son of a bitch!
I've also rigged a soundboard because it's a lot of fun piping it through the local prox comms. So yesterday I found a bug. I found an exploit in the system to allow you to avoid the risk of drug running, and I'm really hoping CIG gets it fixed in the next patch, because I don't want all this fun gameplay of interacting with people to go away. So the big risk of drug trading is that you're exposed. While you're running from your cargo ship or running around with something full of, 500,000 AUEC of drugs, it can be attacked. You can be murdered. Your drugs can't really be stolen from you. We're waiting for the cargo refactor for that. But, people are doing different exploits to try and avoid this risk. Server logging and bed logging and jumping from server to server to make it harder to track them. But there's another bug, and fortunately it's fixed, but this is how I found it. So after 2 very fun days of playing Star Citizen with friends, I went and soloed the drug trade the next day. So this is today, and I go in, and I'm here to sell some drugs out of my Cutlass Black, which is the only ship that I have here at Brio's Breaker Yard. And this is what I see in the console. So that's the bug. I see ships that I don't have with me at Brio's Breaker Yard there with me. There's a C2 and there's a Starfarer Gemini. So I got to think back to, what was the last time I used those ships? So the day before, I was in a C2, and the day before that, I was in a Gemini. So this made a lot of sense, and I knew I could probably recreate this and figure out exactly what's going on, post something to the issue council, and make a video on it. So here we go. So the day before, I was in that C2, and by the end of the day, my friend was flying it. And when he went to try and park it without me, it despawned at Port Olisar. So the second he stepped out, it despawned. The day before that, in the Gemini, I just menu logged floating above New Babbage. Nothing, not a weird despawn, just logging out in an armistice zone. So with the server sort of not knowing where that ship is, I haven't claimed it yet, I'm able to sell from this ship that should have been lost from Brio's Breaker Yard. So now here comes the test. Where does this work? How do I recreate it? Am I able to do this intentionally, or was this a one-time thing? So I first went to the issue council, found that this was a known thing, right? This is actually fixed, and hopefully in 3.18 this won't be possible, but it seems to keep coming back. So to test, what I did is I took a reclaimer, and I tried to recreate the circumstances of that C2 and that Starfarer to see if it would work again, to see if I could get it to happen again. So I took a reclaimer with nothing in it, and I flew it to Port Olisar. And once I was at Port Olisar, I stepped out of the seat. I did not park it because I didn't want it to get repoed or reclaimed there. And I logged to menu. This reset me back to Grimhex, and I switched to a different server. So switching to a different server, my ship's gonna get pulled. It's gonna despawn from that place, and enough minutes later, I'd go and I'd try and I would see what would work. Now Jumptown here is a little different. Jumptown has rules to make the Jumptown event go quicker. You have to get a ship really close to Jumptown, so it didn't show up at Jumptown. But then I go somewhere else. I think this is the Orphanage or another one of the smaller outposts, and they all show up, including the Reclaimer. Some of the drug locations this works at, some doesn't. And it also works for selling. So I can buy to the Reclaimer, and buy to that C2. I would assume that they stop showing up once I claim the ship, but because I've got these big, large cargo ships despawned and not reclaimed, when I go in, and of course, check my corners, because, oh my goodness, I'm not going to get stabbed again. Yeah. But when I get into this server, when I get into this machine and I try and sell, the C2 shows up in this case because I still have drugs on that C2. The Reclaimer doesn't show up because there's nothing on it. I was doing that earlier in the day and I did prove that it works. So that's something you can do. You can go do this yourself. It's a bug. I'm hoping they fix it. But for the time being, here in 3.17.4, you can just go and drug trade without actually putting those drugs at risk. This is a big deal. I've seen in just 2 days of drug trading, I've seen people doing the tick farming thing where they like park a Corsair outside a drug lab and just jump between servers trying to find something. It's really lame. I hope they fix this. But in the meantime, if you want to, you can make money this way. So if that's it, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Finding bugs is a big part of what we do in Star Citizen so that we can all kind of actually have gameplay with each other. I'm glad this was already an issue cancel, and I'm glad it's already fixed, because we do want people to interact with each other, and trade should be about dodging pirates and taking risks. It's probably my favorite game loop, so I'm glad they're fixing it. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.